and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're having a wonderful day today. So today we're going to be doing another declutter video, and today we're going to be decluttering eyeshadow palettes. So I am going to be doing two eyeshadow palette declutter videos, one for kind of mainstream makeup eyeshadow palettes and the other one for AliExpress eyeshadow palettes. The reason for separating them into two different videos is number one, because the video would be so long if I just put them all into one video. And secondly, I know that a lot of you guys are familiar with AliExpress, but then a lot of you aren't. So I just thought it would be better organised to kind of split them into two. So today we're going to be covering the mainstream eyeshadow palettes. Do you know what? I'm kind of going into this already a bit defeated. With the highlighter declutter, I was quite confident. Like, I knew that actually there's a bunch of highlighters that I use a lot and there's a whole lot that I just don't use. So I knew that that would be like relatively easy. Whereas with this eyeshadow palette declutter, this is going to be tough, but I am determined to downsize my collection, not even just because I want more space, but because I want to be able to actually give these palettes to someone that will actually like really enjoy them, as opposed to me just having them like as an ornament. My friend at work, Luke, has got a teenage daughter, Lydia. She's recently got into makeup, so I've been giving her like bits of makeup. So I'm thinking of like, you know, probably whatever I'm not going to keep today, I'm probably going to pass the majority on to her. It's hilarious actually with Luke, because he sent me a text saying, Anwen, Lydia's really into this YouTuber who apparently has done a shoot for CoverGirl. She really wants his new palette. I was like, oh, James Charles. He was like, oh yeah, I don't know. I was like, yeah, James Charles. I said, right, well, the palette's not out in the UK yet, but if you just sign up on the Morphe website, then you'll be notified when that palette is going to be released. He was like, okay, great. The next day in work, he was like, hey sister. And because he'd signed up, you know, for the to be notified about the James Charles palette, he said, Anwen, I keep getting emails referring to me as sister. He said, what is this? I said, oh yes, that's what James Charles calls his fans. And Luke's like, oh right, okay. He said, well, I'm actually learning like some new words. He said, it's lit, slay, savage. Okay, so without further vaginas, let's do this. I am going to kind of go brand by brand, if that makes sense. So anyway, let's just do this. Right, guys. Oh, Shania. So we're going to begin with a JUVIA'S Place. I'm a huge fan of JUVIA'S Place. I have the Magic palette. So the Magic palette is definitely my favourite of all of the JUVIA'S Place palettes. I think that JUVIA'S Place make some of the best shimmers around. They're super metallic and just very like flattering on a more textured eyelid. I absolutely love the shades in this palette, particularly this beautiful like duochrome like purpley blue shade. They've got a couple of beautiful like silvery blues. They've got beautiful matte coral, a gorgeous light icy pink, a gold yellow. Honestly, I could be here all day. This palette, she's going nowhere. She is one of my very, very favourites. So I am not, yeah, she's not going anywhere. Okay, so next we have the Masquerade palette, also obviously by JUVIA'S Place. I'd say that this palette is a little bit more like dark and smoky in a way. I definitely prefer the shades in the Magic palette, just because I feel like they're a little bit more pastel-y, a little bit lighter, more unicorn-esque, whereas in the Masquerade palette, you know, you've got more mattes, you've got more neutral mattes, you've got just richer, like kind of jewel-like shades. So although I really, really love this palette, I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to keep it. Oh my gosh, she's going to keep it. I was going to say, oh, I think I'm going to give it. No, she's going to keep it. I cannot not keep it because it's beautiful. I don't use it as much, but I'm just not ready to give it up yet. I feel like this video is actually just going to end up being my eyeshadow palette collection video, because I don't know what I'm going to be getting rid of, but I'm going to do it. We're going to do it, guys. If I do not get rid of at least 10, you have to come round here and spank my bottom I mean, really, guys. Okay, so next we have the Zulu palette. This is one I'm going to give away because I never use this. I'm probably never going to use it. Do I think that the shades are gorgeous? Yes. Will I use them? No. I do really like the top 3 shades and I feel like they're like quite wearable, whereas like I'm not a big lover of like green, turquoise, or even like purple. Like I'm not actually a huge fan of purple shades, and like I've got these kind of shades in other palettes. I'm going to be passing this on because I know someone would really enjoy it. That someone is not me. Okay, so next we have the Saharan palette. I actually really like this one. I don't use it that much, but I feel like if I downsize my collection, then maybe I will be more inspired to kind of reach for this. I really like this shade here. I love this kind of greeny, like black, very like smoky shade. I feel like there's a lot more that I could do with this palette. There's a lot more looks I could experiment with. So yeah, I'm not ready to give this one up just yet. But when I next come to do my declutter videos, if I've not really used it, then it will be going like literally. This is its last leg. It's been sat in my window and she is faded. Oh no. Okay, so next we're going to move on to BH Cosmetic palettes. BH Cosmetics is one of my absolute favourite eyeshadow brands, mainly because I love the Zodiac palette, but I just think BH Cosmetics is so affordable, and yeah, I just think the formula is really good. So, oh my gosh, the Zodiac palette, my bae. Like, this is definitely one of my favourite eyeshadow palettes ever. There is absolutely no way this is going anywhere. You would have to pry it out of my cold dead hands. I'm going to be buried with this palette. This will come, well, I'm not going to be buried. Like, I don't want to be buried. I want to be cremated and put in a firework and blasted up to space. Like, that's my dream. But maybe this could be also, you know, cremated and blasted up to space with me. So yeah, this palette is gorgeous. I love the formula. I love the shades. The baked shimmers are just so gorgeous. I find that every time I use this palette, I could get a new look. It's extremely versatile. I adore it. It's just such a great everyday palette. So easy to work with. If I was going to criticise anything, it would be the size. And believe me, I do not usually criticise things for their size, especially when they're big. But anyway, such a first world problem. But if they did like a little mini, that would be so cute. I'm definitely going to be buying the new Zodiac palette that they've just released. Oh my gosh, you try and stop me. Okay, so the second BH Cosmetics palette that I've got is the Weekend Festival palette. This one is absolutely gorgeous. I love the shades in here. I definitely need to kind of experiment a bit more with this palette because so far I have only kind of used like the more neutral kind of shades. But I do think that, as always with BH Cosmetics, the formula is beautiful. If you're looking for like a really beautiful, like colourful palette, but you don't really want to spend as much as you might spend getting a JUVIA'S place, I think BH Cosmetics do some really fantastic colourful palettes. I am definitely going to be keeping this because I just feel like there's a lot more I can do with this, and I do use this quite a lot. I've actually used it a couple of times this week. So this is staying. Okay, so next we have the Solar Flare palette, and this is all baked shimmers. So I really do like the baked shimmer formula from BH Cosmetics. I think that baked eyeshadows are just so flattering on the eyelid, particularly if you've got like more texture, if you're a little bit older. They just really look beautiful, especially if you like mix them with a bit of Fix Plus or a wet brush. I've not really done much with this palette. Like, I've swatched it and had great fun swatching it, just having like, you know, a swatching session. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I've never actually worn it, and I have a little bit of an issue with all shimmer palettes. I am a lazy kind of girl, so I like having like a palette with mattes and shimmers so that I can kind of just create the look with that palette, because generally like I'll try and use a different palette every day. So in the evening I'll select which palette I'm going to use, and then that will be the palette that I use the next day. But with this one I would need like a companion palette that had mattes in it, and like, okay, if we're going to go back to like first world problems. I find that, can you see like the actual shadows are like, they're kind of quite deep within the little holes. So I find it a little bit tricky to actually get my finger in there. Oh my gosh, is that not the biggest first world problem you've ever heard in your life? I'm going to give this palette away, and it's not because I don't like the formula, because I do, but I just don't use it, and I want someone else to be able to enjoy it. So this one is going. Next, by BH Cosmetics, we have the Take Me to Brazil. Super pretty, super colourful. Like, this is everything that you would need to create a super like colourful fiesta situation on your eyelids. I am going to be keeping this just because I think it's a really, really handy one to have. I like the fact that they made the pans a little bit smaller, but yet they've kind of fitted more shades in there, because I feel like, you know, with the JUVIA'S Place eyeshadows, like the pans are like super big, and I feel like in reality, like, let me just show you what I mean. Well, like with the Zulu palette, can you see how big the pans are? And like, really, how quickly are you going to go through the green? Like, I don't want to be like too judgmental, but I just feel like you're probably not going to be using these every day. Part of me hates myself for saying that, because, you know, I would think it would be great if you were using that green every single day. But yeah, I just feel like I love the fact that they have made the pans smaller, but they've packed in more shades. I'm going to be keeping this one because, again, the formula is great, and I think there's a lot more fun I can have with this palette. Okay, so next we have the most hyped up palette ever, the Modern Renaissance. So I have gone through different like phases with this palette. When I first bought it, I thought it was amazing, but then I just kind of stopped using it because I only really like kind of half of the shades in this palette, and you can probably tell which ones by the ones that I've hit pan on. I am not a huge fan of these kind of pinky red kind of shades. I do find that like this one at the end is very powdery. Like, they're all very powdery. People lost years from their life moaning about the Subculture palette, but I mean, I can't imagine what that was like when this one is quite fucking powdery. But yeah, as I said, I've gone through like ebbs and flows with this palette, loving it, hating it, loving it, hating it. But I love it now. Like, I love it. I'm definitely going to keep this. If you've watched my channel like for a while, you'll know that I do try a lot of very, very, very cheap eyeshadow palettes, and I have to say that actually the formula within this palette is exceptional. It's a thing of beauty. The shades are pigmented, but still really easy to blend and work with. Would I repurchase this palette? No, because I only like half the shades in this palette. But I mean, I'm keeping it. Like, I'm not crazy. I'm keeping this palette. She is staying with me for life. I definitely do want to invest in another ABH palette at some point. Maybe like the Sultry palette, because it's quite cool toned. But I don't know, after like the whole Subculture fiasco, it's kind of like put me off a little bit. Like, I was really confident in ABH when I first tried the Modern Renaissance, but then the whole Subculture controversy happened, and I don't know, maybe the Novena palette. Let me know, what do you think? Like, should I try Novena? Should I try Sultry? What do you reckon? Like, I just don't know. Okay, so next we have two Jeffree Star eyeshadow palettes. I have changed colour, like, okay. Oh, hello, she's back. Do you know what I've just noticed as well? Like, one side of my hair is kind of pink and the other side is not pink. Like, I was thinking of doing like half and half, so like half bright yellow, half like bubblegum, like corally kind of pink. What do you think, guys? Let me know. Anyway, two Jeffree Star palettes. So, okay, we have Androgyny. This reminds me a lot of Subculture. I actually was really, really drawn to this palette just because at the time when it was released, it was very unique. It was kind of, you know, a step away from all of the like warm toned palettes that we were seeing. It's pretty grungy, and yeah, I just really admire the fact that it's a bit different. Do I use it? No. Like, I did at first, but not anymore. But I'm thinking like this kind of camo green shade would look lovely with this lip. Okay, so again, similar to Modern Renaissance, there's only a handful of shades within this palette that I actually like. Like, I'm never using these two because I don't really like these shades. I'm not talented enough to get these shades to actually look like anything other than a bruised eye. But I love like the chocolatey brown. I like this orange. I like the uniqueness of the camo green. I like the androgyny shade. This is a really good contour shade. I'm not quite ready to relinquish it yet, actually. I kind of wish that the pan size was smaller and we had like more shades within the palette to, you know, to pick from. I think the formula is nice. No kind of complaints about that. But yeah, it's just not one that I reach for every single day. But I'm not giving it away. That rhymes. Don't reach for it every day, but am I giving it away? Hell no! Next we have a complete departure from the grungy kind of muted eyeshadows in the Androgyny palette. We have the very summery Thirsty palette. They could not be at more polar opposite ends of the spectrum. Knew as soon as I saw pictures of this palette that I had to buy it because I just love the shades in here. I love this kind of cool tone brown. I love chocolatey brown. Can't beat a good chocolatey brown. I love the coral, the pink. I mean, I love them all. The shimmers within this palette are on par with JUVIA'S Place shimmers. You've got like a lot of different actual kind of formulas. So like this shimmer isn't as chunky as, oh, I say that and it looks like the chunkiest shadow ever. These two are like pressed pigments because we're kind of in winter now, or autumn. Like I don't even know, like when does autumn become winter? I have no idea. In the summer, like this is a palette I would definitely reach for, and I really like the shimmers. So this is not going anywhere, and I like the fact that Jeffrey made the pan sizes smaller so that, you know, you could like fit more shades in there. Like I want small pan sizes so I've got the maximum amount of shades. Can I get a holler, people? Holler! I mean, really, guys. Okay, so next we are moving on to Urban Decay, and I have the Moondust palette. So this is full of like duochrome, like glittery kind of shades. Again, there's no mattes in here. This is predominantly like shimmers. So I didn't actually buy this for myself. My dad's wife bought it for me. It definitely wasn't a palette that I had on my radar. Like I wouldn't have bought it for myself, but I actually was surprised by how much I loved it. I think that the actual formula is absolutely gorgeous. These are what I would refer to, however, as topper shades. They just add a certain je ne sais quoi, you know, to an existing eye look. They're very like duochromy, and yeah, I never use it. Like that's the thing, I never use her, but I'm going to keep her because I do think she is beautiful. I want to use her more, so I'm going to keep her. I'm not ready to get rid of her yet, not yet. And I love the packaging. I think it's so pretty. Like I'm a big fan of Urban Decay aesthetic in general. Okay guys, so coming up, I think I have the hardest decision to make in this video. Wait for it. Oh guys, I almost smashed them all. The Fecking Naked palettes. I feel like if I were to give any of these away, I would be giving away like part of my... Oh, dude, seriously, like what is the aggression all about? I feel like I'd be giving away part of my history with makeup, because when I first got into makeup and started watching YouTube, everyone was like just losing their vaginas over the Naked One palette, and I think it was like one of the first like makeup products, along with the Mary Luminizer Benefit Hoola Bronzer. You know, it was just one of those products that just everyone and their sister just needed to have, you know, like a badge of honor. I watch YouTube beauty gurus, I need the Naked One palette. I still think that the actual shades within this palette are so gorgeous. If it were released today, I think I would probably want to buy it. But I did actually revisit this the other week, and I was cruelly disappointed. I actually filmed a video like of me in the car saying, where the feck is the eyeshadow? Oh, this palette was like, the formula's just shit. You know what I really want Urban Decay to do? I want them to re-release this with a reformulated formula. Does that make sense? Or reformulate the formula, I don't know, but I really want them to actually release this. You know what, this is kind of similar in looks to the Ultimate Basics palette in a way, but obviously the Ultimate Basics does not have the shimmers. I feel like I cannot give this up because it was so iconic in its own right. So like, I'm never going to use it. but I don't really want to give it away to someone because I don't think it's particularly great quality. She's going to keep it, like literally, she is keeping it. Okay, so next we have the Naked 2 palette, and I literally only bought this because like I had the first one and I thought, why not? So similar to the Naked 1 palette, like I never use this, never. I'm going to be giving this one away. There's no point me just hanging on to it for the sake of it, you know. So this one, this is going, I'm going to give it to my friend Alice because I know that this was her favourite of the Naked palettes, and that was like 5 years ago. So I feel like surely she's hit pan on some of the shades now. So yeah, this one is going to my friend Alice. Okay, so next we have my least favourite of all of the Naked palettes. This is the Naked 3, which was like the pinky kind of palette. Did I like this? Do you know what? I can't remember. I was just about to say I never really liked this. But I don't know. I can't even trust my own mind right now. Do I have dementia? Like, what is happening? Like, do I like this or not? I don't know. But I feel like I've used it a lot. Like, you can see. Like, I have actually kind of used it. But I don't think I'm going to be using it again. I really did, that's it. I really like these two matte shades. But, God, it's so tough, guys. You know, when there's palettes that you actually have history with, that you were so in love with when you actually bought them, or maybe just in love with the idea of having them, I don't know. But I feel I'm going to keep this. Like, I thought this was going to be the one that I was going to give away, but, like, I'm keeping it. Like, what? What? Okay, so my favourite of all of the Naked palettes is actually the Smoky palette. This is extremely cool toned and grungy. I absolutely adore this palette. This is one that I definitely want to use more. Like, this is like my ideal palette right here. So I don't know why I don't use it more than I do. But yeah, I'm going to be keeping this, and I'm going to be urging my vagina to use it. Well, not my vagina, because my vagina cannot hold a makeup brush or blend. But anyway, I'm going to be keeping this one. It's my favourite one, guys. Like, if you like cool toned eyeshadows, ta-da! Okay, so next we have one of my all-time favourite eyeshadow palettes, and probably my most used eyeshadow palette, although the ZODIAC palette is definitely like not far behind. So this is the Ultimate Basics by Urban Decay. Whenever somebody asks me, Anwen, what's your favourite grungy eyeshadow palette, I always tell them the Ultimate Basics. This is all mattes, which I know goes against like everything I was saying previously about like not liking all shimmer palettes, but I feel like it's easy with mattes because you can't really create an eye look with just shimmers. You probably can, but I cannot. But I feel like with mattes you can create a really beautiful eye look. The formula in this palette has definitely come a long way since the Naked 1 palette. So like if you've tried like the Naked 1 palette and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that formula is absolute bollocks, I would definitely say don't be put off, because Urban Decay have definitely improved upon it for this palette. This is just like my favourite. I am keeping it, and considering the fact that this is my most used palette, like I've not actually hit pan on any of the shades yet. So I feel like it must be like really, really good value for money. I love her. Do you want to marry me? Like literally. Okay, so next we have my one and only LIMECRIME palette. This is the Venus XL. So this is a beautiful kind of pink, maroon, plum. I don't know what maroon is, guys, like literally. When I saw a picture of this, I was like, yes, I really, really want to have that in my life. But now that it's in my life, I don't really use it. Don't feel ready to actually give this up yet. This is one of the most expensive eyeshadow palettes that I own. So yeah, I'm not ready to give up on it just yet. Believe me, if it cost me £2, I'd be giving up on her right now. I'd be kicking her to the curb and bin bagging up all of her belongings. But no, I can't, not yet. I'm going to hang on to her for a little bit longer. But again, like maybe when I do my next declutter, she'll be hitting the curb with her ass. Okay, so next we're going to move on to ZOEVA, and I've got two palettes. This, like, something's feeling loose in this one. What is it? What is going on? Ah! Oh, guys, that really scared me. Look, what? Why? 3 of the fucking eyeshadows have just fallen out. What? Guys, what has caused them to fall out? Oh my gosh, I might create my own custom palette now. That would be fun. Look. 3 of them just popped right out. So we have the On Taupe palette. So when I saw this for the first time, to say my vagina got wet is a massive understatement. I just fell in love because, like, I just love cooler toned eyeshadows, and I love grey kind of eyeshadows. I love pinky eyeshadows, and this palette is literally something that I would probably, like, what? I obviously like can't hold it up anymore, but yeah, I love this palette. I am keeping it. Next, we have the complete opposite of the On Taupe palette. This is the Sweet Glamour palette. I was actually given this palette by Maria, one of my amazingly kind subscribers. It's not one that I don't think I would have like picked it for myself, but I absolutely love it, particularly this peachy shade, as you could probably tell. If you're looking for a really pretty, like pastel-y eyeshadow palette, this would be a really great one to go for. I feel like pastel eyeshadow shades must be super tough to actually make pigmented, but if you use like a white base, like either the NYX like eye crayon in Milk, or just some other fucking white base, the pastels really pop. I love this palette. I think she is absolutely gorgeous, and yeah. Okay, so next we have 2 NYX palettes, and these are the I Love You So Mochi eyeshadow palettes. These are actually a cream formula. I have the Sleek and Chic one, which features, I would say, like more like everyday neutral wearable kind of shades, and I also have the Electric Pastels palette, which features much more kind of playful, colourful kind of shades. So I bought the Sleeker Chic one first, and then my dad got me the Electric Pastels for my birthday. I love the formula of these eyeshadows. They are a cream formula, so you do need to apply them with your fingers, but they're just so easy to work with because you don't need to mess about with a brush. They go on so easily, and they actually last really well, like throughout the day. So I really like these palettes. I wish that more brands would bring out cream eyeshadows. They're kind of like, you know, like cushiony, like the Colourpop shadows. They've got like a buoyant kind of feel to them. So yeah, I'm gonna keep both of these just because I think they're so easy, you know, just to like reach for and apply if you're having a lazy day, me every day, then they're great ones to have. So yeah, I'm going to keep both of these. If you've been eyeing them up, or if you like creamy kind of eyeshadows, I would so recommend you give these a go. Oh my gosh, guys, I've done terrible. I think I've got rid of one palette. Oh my gosh, what? No, I've got rid of 2. Like I'm going to get rid of the Naked one as well. Anyway, guys, we'll sum it up in a minute. What is my hair doing? Oh my gosh. Oh, by the way, guys, I've just realised, like, there are some palettes I missed out from this. There's a Makeup Revolution one. There's maybe a couple missing, and you'll be like, Anwen, but you've not mentioned that. I think that I've already made a decision. I was giving it away. And, like, anyway. So, the next palette we have is by Coastal Scents. This is the Charlie Girl palette. I did a first impression on this, and I really liked it. I love this kind of neon-y lime green shade. This emerald blue, like, even though I don't wear blues a lot, beautiful. Love the coral. And I also love this kind of grey shadow, which I feel is quite unique. I'm going to keep this palette. I definitely need to use it more. Like, I think I used it once. Like, oops. But I'm going to use it more. I'm going to keep it. Oh my gosh, see what I mean? This is just Anwen's eyeshadow palette collection video now. That's what it is. I knew I'd do crap with this. I knew it. Okay, so just to finish off, we have a super colourful palette. This is by I Heart Makeup, and it's called the I Heart Sin palette. Oh yes, I do. I love sinning, mainly on a Friday, but sometimes Saturdays too. You know, if I'm just feeling extra sinful. So I think that this is a fantastic, colourful, experimental palette, but I'm not going to keep it because I've already got the BH Cosmetics one, which I just think is amazing. So I'm going to be giving this one away, because I know that someone else can like really have a lot of fun with it and just sin. They could just sin all weekend if they wanted. So, okay, so guys, like, let me just double check. Like, what did I actually Like, what have I actually got rid of? Like, 2 palettes? I got rid of 2. Like, it's worse than I thought. I knew I wasn't going to do well, but I thought I would probably be able to, like, part with more than 2. Oh, no. 3, because the Zulu palette, of course. Like, are there any more? Oh, no. Oh, my gosh, guys. Yes, she is doing great. Solar flare. I almost said solar panel palette. I've got solar panels on the brain because we've been installing some at work. By the way, I have no idea how solar panels work. And this guy from the solar panel company called me to explain. And, you know, like, he might as well have just been speaking Latin to me because, yeah, I had no idea. I was going, oh, yes. And then I ended the call with saying, do you know what? Yes, that's really made me understand solar panels a lot more now, because I felt bad because this guy has just given me 45 minutes out of his busy day to try and explain solar panels to me, and all I've heard is Latin, like literally. So I thought, oh, I'll be kind, I'll say yes, that's really helped. I put the phone down and I was like, no idea. But okay, I got to 4. Do you know? No. Oh my gosh. Like, guys, you're thinking, Anwen, why are you so disorganised? Like, this is just life for me. By the way, should I cut my hair? Like, I've been thinking recently, should I just cut my hair? I did cut it a little bit last night, but I'm thinking, why not do more? Like, why not? Anyway, side note. So I've got rid of 5 eyeshadow palettes, guys, and I don't think that's too bad. So we've got rid of the JUVIA'S Masquerade, the Solar Panel palette by BH Cosmetics, the Zulu by JUVIA'S, and the Naked 1 and Naked 2 palettes. So that's not too bad. Not great, but not too bad. You know what I mean? So anyway, guys, next we are going to be decluttering, maybe doing it just an AliExpress eyeshadow palette video, but I'm going to be filming the declutter my AliExpress eyeshadow palettes next, so stay tuned if you would like to see Anwen justify why she should keep the palettes, as the title should probably be called. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope that you've enjoyed it, and I will see you again in the next one.